58, as I literally just said.
I wasn't
Export
listening.
audio 6.
Oh.
What episode number is it?
Now, can the people hear us? Can they hear us?
What episode numbers?
Did you like that?
I did. That was
Uh,
fantastic.
Wait, did that convert already? Hold on, let me.
Yeah, well, it was only a short file.
Short file.
Is that another short joke?
No,
Pretty
not at all.
much.
How dare you? How dare you?
They cannot
There's
hear
audio
us.
now. There's audio on the Hangout.
Oh, there's audio. They can hear us.
Captain Logan says no, he can't.
So those
what?
can hear us. Oh, good. Those
I don't know.
Infinite
Anyway.
jerks.
I
I
am
hate
muted.
them all. I hate them all so much.
All right. We ready? We ready
Well,
to do
no,
this
I
again?
gotta reopen Audacity.
Oh,
Why'd you reopen? Why'd you close it?
oh,
Well, because
God.
I closed the file that I had.
Sweet dear God.
There it is. Okay, make sure my recording on. There we go.
Recording
Hey,
now.
I'm recording
Hey.
now.
Okay, clap.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. We did it.
Yeah.
We can use that other
great.
one as the after show.
Oh, well. Hello and welcome to episode. I'm going to start that again. Hello and welcome to episode 658 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
We were having a vigorous discussion about our back scratchers before we hit technical difficulties last time.
Vigorous.
Difficulties.
Nobody could hear you talk.
They didn't
about your
need
back
to. The
scratchers.
chat was laughing anyway.
They were.
Yeah. See.
Hmm.
And that's what we really set out to do.
Yep.
That's right. Make people laugh.
We had a working bit and you turned it off.
I did. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Well, hidely ho there, CJ. It's good to see you again.
Yes, you
Me.
missed quite a show last week.
Yeah, I feel like I said this like 5 minutes ago. Something about I don't listen to the show and I only want to listen to Mike Phillips.
There you go.
There's
Yeah,
there's my joke.
You got it.
Yeah. Well, I was busy.
Thank God
You
that's
were
out of the
busy.
way.
Yes.
You were busy. You were
was-
in Los Angeles.
I was in
City of
sunny
Angels.
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Um,
You were just visiting for no reason though. Right?
I went down there to visit a good friend of the show, Christopher Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he lives in New York.
Well, he was also in LA. He was down there visiting me.
But you live in Seattle.
Right, but Chris was in LA, so I decided.
Did you so you went down for the Star Wars at Disney, right? So,
First of all, it's Star
Galaxy's
Wars
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
I don't care.
Duh.
I stole so many sporks.
That looks so cool.
It does look
Just
cool.
saying. It looks so
It does look
cool.
cool.
For the record, I did not actually go to Galaxy.
It'll
should
probably
have.
be
I
ruined
was
in
at-
like a year.
I'm hoping a year and a half.
I was at dumb old E3. I was not at cool Star Wars land.
No. Yeah.
I was
ready.
Yeah, I was at
playing
the
new video games.
stupid video game show. Not really. I was because I was there for work. Work
Sure.
sent me.
Mhm.
So I was doing work related business, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, business Phil.
That's right. I was there with my. I was in my business suit.
I'm sure that was smelling
We
great
know
on the
that's
third
not
day.
true.
That's actually. You know what though? I did have. I did bring a nice suit with me.
Did you
Yeah.
wear it?
I did. Well, you know what? I wore it. We went. There was a nice dinner, a nice company dinner that we went to.
Uh-huh.
So I wore my nice
Was
business
Bowser
suit,
there?
which was no, this was not a Nintendo dinner.
No.
Yeah, this was another company to which I am more directly related.
Mm.
Came now?
Hollywood.
Oh,
Hollywood.
okay.
Hollywood. It was a Hollywood dinner with celebrities.
Mhm.
No, you know what? I wore you remember a few weeks, months? I have no sense of time when I was in Japan.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
When I was on the yellow carpet for a big movie premiere,
Mhm.
I had a little suit on. I wore that same suit because I have one. I have
One
one.
suit.
I have one set of nice clothes. So
Yeah.
I was wearing that.
I'm in that
same-
boat too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
was
that
wearing
boat
that
too.
same thing. But no, I was there for work business, so I didn't unfortunately get to play that many games.
Okay.
Partially because I had a lot of work to do, so I was actually writing most of the time. I was trapped in my hotel room writing.
Did they put you in a like a fishbowl style glass room in the middle of the show floor with no air conditioning?
Oh, that's the best. That is the best kind of situation.
What you want. That's where you want your writers.
That's exactly it.
For those not in the know, that's what they used to do with some games press back in the day.
So we could all see how the sausage was made, and then realize it really wasn't that impressive.
Yeah,
person sitting at computer typing words.
Ziff Davis would have a big booth right in the middle of.
Yeah.
Was it the South Hall?
Wherever the main
should have been Kensha Hall.
Wherever the big three were, we were right there.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah,
that's the. Wait, is that?
But now, of course, that's where IGN.
I was just there.
IGN and GameSpot do their stuff live on the show as well, but they're not writing stuff so much there as
we actually had.
They're just sitting on couches and having awkward banter.
Yeah. But it was they'd set up a little glass case in the center of the show floor, shove about 30 old PCs in there, all generating tons of heat. And then throw a bunch of writers,
aka sweaty nerds,
who had been like running around the show floor that was already super hot and sweaty and cramped and disgusting, and just put us in our own little petri dish to let us stew in our own filth.
Those were good days, though.
I never had to experience that.
Yeah.
Even the first years that I was there, obviously.
There was one E3 where there were a number of PCs set up there, and I think every editor at Ziff was like assigned a certain number of games that they had to write impressions of for GameSpot at the time. So we divided the workload such that every editor had like a half dozen or more games that had to write impressions of. Everyone was assigned. So that's not how the way they do it.
I actually don't think I was ever in one of those little fish bowls.
No, you probably got spared.
Yeah, but I did when I was at Game Spy, we did have one of those little, sequestered rooms off to the side somewhere in like Concourse Hall or something like that. That's the big hallway in between the two main halls.
Right.
But we had a little room that had like 50 computers in it. Oh no, of course not.
No air conditioning. Crazy.
No, it was just a small ventilation free room that had like 50 PCs running and people sitting at each of them. It was the worst.
I think it's so funny watching any of the conferences. Anytime they do a crowd shut now, I mean, I've been there. I've been doing E3 stuff myself long enough to go to a few of those keynotes, and you always had the people sitting there with their laptops. In the way, especially once live blogging became a thing. But now, of course, everybody can do that from their mobile devices.
Yeah.
So what was it? I forget if it was the Ubisoft conference this year. I noticed it. They had a camera on an arm out over the crowd, and every now and then they do that, and there wasn't one person looking up.
Right. It was all.
I mean, but it's so funny because when you're not using your laptop, it just looks like you're not paying attention. It's where my brain goes. It's like, oh, well, somebody with a laptop is a journalist sitting there typing out a report.
Right.
Somebody on a phone, because I go to enough, especially events with my kids, that I'm surrounded by parents that all have their faces buried in their phones.
Sure. Right.
That's what it looks like to me. It's just a bunch of people not paying attention to what's happening.
Well, everyone really seems enthralled with their Candy Crush.
Yeah.
No one really cares.
So.
Yeah. Well, okay. Instead of covering the news, like
there was no news last week,
going down a list of what happened at each conference, I'm assuming people listening to this podcast are well aware of what happened at E3, and they've listened to other podcasts going through that stuff. So what I figured we would do is we each came up with a list of about 10 things that that we're excited about coming out of E3. So we're adding an extra E. To E3. It's our excitement list.
Wow,
So
a quad
E3
E.
Quad E.
We're adding.
my.
Yep, that's
Quad
right.
E3
Oh my.
and E4.
Quadruple E
Uh-huh.
excitement list instead of quadruple A. We're going E here. So I figured that's how we do it.
Which is really fitting because I am on ecstasy right now.
I am going to kick it off. I'll kick it off.
Oh.
Well, what do you think of that?
Are these are in no particular order?
Well, I kind of put them in a loose order.
Why don't we just talk about stuff? Let's just
talk about stuff.
Okay.
We're really building this up more than it needs to be.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. I'll kick us off then.
Okay.
Because I want to talk
about. Are you starting with kind of are you working your way up to like what I'm most excited about?
I'll do that, sure.
Okay. Sure. Okay. I just want to know which end of my list to start with.
Doing that.
I was really happy, even though
That's
I don't
great.
play.
I'm glad.
Good. That's my number one thing.
That's what I want for you and for all of our listeners at home.
Thank you. Very
I want everyone to be really happy.
I was very happy at the end of the Nintendo Direct to see the reveal, even though I don't play this game all that much. No.
Oh.
Of Banjo-Kazooie for Smash Ultimate. And I thought it was a great reveal with the Duck Hunt Dog thing. I thought that was really funny.
That was really cute. Yeah.
Apparently they did something similar with King K. Rool, but still funny. And that same day, or I guess it was the day before, Microsoft announced their last batch of backwards compatible titles for the original Xbox and Xbox 360. And
I didn't know that.
As part of that, they announced X enhancements to the Banjo-Kazooie titles. So Banjo, Banjo-Tooie, and Nuts and Bolts on the 360 all got 4K enhancements. And Nuts and Bolts looks great. And it just makes me want to play another Banjo-Kazooie game. or rather, a remade Banjo-Kazooie with the character design that they're using in Smash Ultimate, which actually I thought was pretty good, decent.
Is he not the squarish?
Not the squarish. No,
he's
much more cartoony with larger eyes. Really good.
Because Rare doesn't use large enough eyes on their characters.
They don't. That's one of the criticisms. Yes. That Rare gets all the time. But yeah, I was very excited about that. And it was a very small thing. But and then you look at the reaction videos that people posted online of that announcement from the Nintendo World Store in New York, and people losing their minds at Banjo-Kazooie being in the game, because it's been rumored for a long time, and Banjo-Kazooie, like it or not, I know that Rare is owned by Microsoft, but a lot of people still think of Banjo-Kazooie as a Nintendo thing. Obviously, a lot of nostalgia there.
Rare was basically a second party on the N64. Anything
they were
was like a Nintendo thing on that console.
Yeah. It's true. Just happy to see that Microsoft Nintendo partnership growing, and for something like this to be possible.
Right. I think and that's there's more there too. Like Captain Logan in the chat is saying, like Super Lucky's Tale.
Yep.
Announced for the Switch. Ukulele. Yep. I didn't know
that's former Rare people.
Yeah, okay.
Platonic, yeah. But yeah, Super Lucky's Tale. There is a studio involved in that. I'm not sure if that's Microsoft necessarily, although I know it was a similar situation like Cuphead where Microsoft funded it.
Yeah.
So but yeah, there's more and more stuff there, and I like to see that. So
yeah.
I know you like stuff.
I love stuff.
Big fan of stuff.
Yep. Big fan of stuff. All right, Phil, you want to?
I am excited for Minecraft Dungeons.
That looks good.
It looks really good.
The new Minecraft game looks kind of like it's going to be a little kind of Diablo light for kids kind of thing. And honestly, I'm more excited about it just because it'll be fun to play with Finn, because I know he's probably going to get way into it.
Yep.
Because he's so big into Minecraft right now. So,
and it's going to be on every system, hopefully. Be on play.
Yeah. And it's good. What is it? Four players at once, I think.
4 players.
It gets up to 4, and that's couch or online.
Or online, I believe so. Yeah. So that's going to be great. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing that with him. So
yeah, apparently no building in that. It's only
right. Yeah, that one looks like
it's literally a Diablo clone. It seems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they started with story mode, sort of branching out the world of Minecraft to be more than just the virtual kind of Lego building type stuff. So which is good, which I'm glad to see them doing. Just sort of expanding that world beyond what it originally started off to be. So
completely. Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Even though I don't play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Very excited by it.
Yeah.
My daughter has gotten into Minecraft recently.
She?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's a shame you don't live closer to me, because then she and Finn could hang out and talk Minecraft.
Well, we may have to fix that.
Okay.
All right, Greg.
Wow. I'd say probably the main thing we're not supposed to be doing our most exciting thing here, are we?
No. We're going up the list.
I didn't put anything in order.
I put things in a loose order. That's all.
I have to say that I at least find it interesting, because I really went into this thinking that we weren't going to hear that Microsoft was going to be releasing a new console.
Yeah.
But
really?
They have.
Even though Sony did that thing with Wired with PlayStation 5, you didn't think they would talk Scarlet?
Well, no. Okay, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I didn't think they were going to have a console next generation.
Oh, okay.
I've been saying for a long time that I think they're going to go mostly
Project Scarlet's been rumored for a while.
Well, I know, but yeah, anyway, my point being. So either way, I thought it was interesting, and I was glad to hear that we're talking next holiday.
Yeah.
About this stuff.
Holiday 2020.
It's good to know. Especially if you want to get into other consoles, but that combined with the fact that I really like that Microsoft consolidated their services. What's it called? Game Pass Ultimate, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Game Pass for Xbox, Game Pass for PC, and Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're all the same.
They're all under one umbrella, all at one price. A really cheap price to start, $1, although that was only for 1 month, except for a glitch, I believe.
Oh.
But
I think not a glitch. They allowed you to stack. If you had existing subscriptions for both services, you could basically transform them into a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, and they would stack.
Okay.
So if you had remaining months on a gold sub and remaining
months okay, cool.
on Game Pass, you combined them, and then your Game Pass Ultimate would go to whatever that. So mine ends in March of 2021 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think that I liked the fact that they're doing, because those are services that I'm using.
Yes.
It's also it meant that the Microsoft press conference, there were a lot of games there that I was sort of kind of interested in. We talked about this last week with Mike.
Yep.
Sort of kind of interested in. Oh, look, day one on Game Pass, fantastic.
And you will play it, right?
And I will play.
You will definitely play it.
So getting sort of a reduced price on two services that I already have, hearing that you can stack them, which I'm going to need to go in and convert on that anyway. I think it was good. It's very.
Did you not already do it?
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was I don't know when that offer ended.
Either way, very consumer friendly stuff.
Yeah, very.
So I'm happy about that. So I guess that was one of the things I was excited about. I mean, my list is mostly just a bunch of games, but
yeah. Okay. Well, I had on my list as well, sort of, and this is a bit of a cheat because it's several things really, but continuing support of things like Game Pass, and evolving that as a service in general. Game Pass Ultimate also adds Game Pass on PC. So like this week, I downloaded Slay the Spire for Game Pass on PC and played a bit of that. And just the evolution of that service of Game Pass being included with gold in one box. I think Sony should offer something similar. With PlayStation
chances are
now.
They have offered something similar for about 4 years and just haven't told anybody about it.
Yeah, it's very possible. They just didn't call it anything, so it's not on our radars. But also things like putting 2 Human in the backwards compatibility program. Even though they announced that they were ending that program, I thought they did it in a good way, sort of sending it off with 15 more games, including all of the Splinter Cell series. Was good. And Too Human, a game I never thought would get backwards compatibility because that game got pulled from shelves because of a lawsuit, right?
Oh.
So that getting put into backwards compatibility is great, and it might still be free on Xbox Live. It's a free download, so worth playing for free. I still enjoy that game. But also things like Bethesda bringing up Fallout 76 almost right away during their conference, and not apologizing for the state that it was launched in, but more promising to fix it and announcing a big content update coming in the fall and a battle royale mode as well. And they did a beta of that during E3 week, as well as made it completely free to download and play for the E3 week. So good on them. With that. Like I had hoped, even though I don't play Anthem, I had hoped that maybe EA would do something similar for Anthem, because I know a lot of people who did buy it and do honestly enjoy it and wanted to hear more about what was happening there. And we got nothing. With the EA Play, they did like a very tiny update in between like streams of the other games, and that's disappointing. But so yeah, continuing support of things is another thing I'm excited about. Phil,
yes,
what's next on your list?
Zelda's new haircut.
Princess Zelda's new haircut.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. What?
In the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer.
Oh, does she have a haircut?
She's got short hair.
She has a new haircut, which looks fantastic on her.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild, we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see. But
interesting fan theories going around.
What's that?
About like a whole underworld.
Oh yeah.
Beneath the world of Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. If you know what I'll be excited about when they announce that your weapon won't shatter after.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what I'm hoping is that Hyrule has
figured out how to build a sword that
forged a type of metal that will last more than like 10 strikes.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how they weigh that feedback with people who enjoyed the system in Breath of the Wild, where you pick up any weapon and use it to your heart's content. But it's good to know that the next Zelda game is going to be a sequel to Breath of the Wild and not like an entirely new vision, right?
Yeah, I guess that's good to know if you're a big Breath of the Wild fan,
which I am.
Yeah. Sure. I'm not saying I'm not excited. I mean, I'll play it. It's a new Zelda game.
Of course.
I'll play it. I didn't hate Breath of the Wild. I played through Breath of the Wild. I did enjoy it. I've said many times that I prefer sort of the more directed adventure in Zelda, the more traditional Zelda adventures.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll still play this.
I'm sure they will
to see what's different.
I'm sure they will take into account feedback they got from the first game, including the breakable weapons, including dungeons, like all that stuff. I think will be looked at and addressed in some way, right? But
right,
like Majora's Mask was a sequel-esque to
I think
Ocarina of Time.
I think that's the bigger thing where I think if they didn't do a direct sequel or something that was built on the same engine, we wouldn't see another Zelda on the Switch.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. It would take too long.
Yeah. Excited to see what they have cooked up for this one. That trailer, I wasn't expecting to hear about a Breath of the Wild sequel at this point, but I'm glad that they didn't even put a date on it or anything. It basically admitted that they're working on it with that, and I'm fine with that.
And then, as somebody mentioned right after the show, we've now seen more of Breath of the Wild 2 than we have of Metroid.
It's true. Well, we know what Breath of the Wild looks like. We know what that engine looks like. So, yeah. Other than the hair, yeah. So, Craig?
Hi. I'm gonna say Link's Awakening was
Yeah.
a major high point, and I know we've already seen it.
Yeah.
But oh my god,
That's on my list as well.
It looks gorgeous.
It's stunning looking. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
and I mean I haven't seen it in person obviously, but I'm so excited about that game.
Yeah,
me too.
Because I've never really played through it. So
did you watch the Treehouse demo of it?
No.
It looks great, and the whole idea of having parts of dungeons unlock that you can then like use to make dungeons.
Oh yeah,
and you do that to
really cool.
unlock you play those dungeons yourself, right? It looks like you use them for your own character.
You can play them, yourself. You get apparently like challenges to create a certain dungeon, and then play through them yourself. They said something about sharing with friends. They didn't really go into that. That basically they said, and you can share it with friends. Here, person Aonuma, like, play the dungeon that I made.
And then handed them the Switch?
And handed them the Switch, yeah. So
okay.
I don't know if share with friends means that or means share it online with other people. We'll just have to see. But I thought the whole system of making dungeons, obviously a Zelda maker would be a pretty complicated undertaking.
Yeah.
The way that they have it set up in Link's Awakening is an interesting first step in that direction.
Yeah, just placing rooms as tiles, basically. Yeah, I'm interested to try it. But I mean, that is not the reason I'm excited about that game. I'm just excited to experience that game. It looks so beautiful.
It looks great.
I've been kind of purposefully avoiding. Like I didn't play it at the show. I didn't watch the Treehouse Live stuff because I really I've played Link's Awakening a few times in the past, and so I'm pretty familiar with the game. But I want to go into this one sort of as blind as I possibly can.
Yeah,
and oh man,
they did confirm that the color dungeon's in there.
Oh, did they?
Yes,
nice. That's great.
Yes,
that's good to know. I'm pleased about that. But yeah, I cannot wait. And you saw the pictures of those dioramas they had at the Nintendo booth.
That was amazing.
Crap. First of all, those things were huge.
Yeah,
they were really big and they were stunning looking.
Yeah,
I was very, very much wanting to steal one. Yes, I wanted to burgle the Nintendo booth, but I did not.
Oh,
I'm afraid. Well, I mean, it is good because I'd probably lose my job.
Probably. Well, and this game is coming out in September,
which I will buy it.
Crazy enough, is not that far away.
Yeah, not that's true. Far away at all.
It's like, oh my god, we're halfway through the year.
See the little? I'm sure you did the amiibo for it as well.
I did. I pre-ordered that immediately.
Yeah,
of course you did.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'll get that.
I might actually grab one of those as well, and I haven't. My amiibo collection has been sitting at 15 for a couple of years now. So
the Zelda
Shovel Knight
was
the last amiibo I got.
Great though. I like the Zelda amiibo that they've done.
Yeah, no, they're all very nice.
Yeah. They didn't talk about Wart though.
Why do you want them to tell you everything? Play the damn game.
Mamu, yes.
Mamu.
I believe he was called a Mamu in this one.
Yeah. But I'm excited about it. Excited.
Yep.
Right.
Playing a lot of Switch games this year. Definitely going to be playing a lot of Switch games this year.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right. Who were we on? Whose was that? Because this was on all of our lists.
Mine. That was mine.
All right. I'm going to say Gods and Monsters.
Yes.
So this was at Ubisoft.
Okay. What is Gods and Monsters?
Gods and Monsters is a new game developed by the Assassin's Creed team.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Zelda. It kind of looks like a Zelda game.
It's much more cartoony looking than an Assassin's Creed game.
Okay. Much more cartoony looking. Yeah. But what if Kid Icarus and Zelda were mashed up and there was an open world component to it?
Greek mythology setting.
Setting.
I saw the screens. I forgot that that's what that game was called.
Yeah, Gods and Monsters. And even though they just showed that short trailer, I'm super excited to play this thing. It's like Ubisoft seems to be pretty dedicated to this, to making new stuff in addition to all of their
it's so funny
franchises,
because their press conference was kind of like Watch Dogs Legion, which I think looks good.
Sure.
And then it was like the Tom Clancy bookshelf for an hour.
Yeah.
Which is great if you like that stuff. And then that. And it's like, okay, now here's some color.
Right. The fact that they are, I mean, you look at some other publishers, how it's sequel after sequel, like
this
so
publisher
many
in particular
do that, and also Ubisoft does that too. But what I'm saying is, you have these Assassin's Creed developers working on a completely new IP at the end of a generation of hardware. Like I'm into it, and
that team has made some really, really good stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see them sort of bring their talents to bear on something new and different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I couldn't be more excited about that.
And this game is, of course, based on the 1998 British-American period drama film starring Ian McKellen, Brendan Fraser, and Lynn Redgrave.
Yes.
Obviously.
But in cartoon form.
Right.
Cartoon form.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited then.
It looks great. I'm down for it. Phil.
Yeah?
What else are you excited for?
Pick something up off your stupid list.
Well, I was going to say Greg Stewart.
I wasn't that angry.
You were in my heart, Greg.
Aww.
Hey, you saw I posted that picture of the giant Sega Mini, and I was like, oh, I can't stop thinking about Greg. You saw that. I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I had that there.
I slept with that.
That's not my thing on my list that I'm talking about. But I will say that the in the Sega booth, the little section that they had where you could go and play the Sega Mini,
I saw it.
Yeah, it was set up to look like an 80s or a 90s rec room.
I'm pretty sure they had the carpet rented on my living room in 1991.
It was pretty cute. So
it looked good. Yeah,
it was terrible. Like the time where I went over to that booth just to kind of take a look at. I didn't get a chance to play it because they only had like 3 of them set up.
That's weird.
That people were but the one guy was playing Wily Wars, and I was like, okay,
that seemed like it was a popular choice.
Yeah. The other 2 people, one of them was playing Sonic Spinball, and the other one,
telling you, people have fond memories of Sonic Spinball.
Yes, they do.
And the other person was playing Mean Bean Machine. And I'm like, all the games on there, and Spinball and Mean Bean Machine are the ones you go for.
Yeah.
You know, there's Streets of Rage on there, man. There's actual Sonic games on there.
I thought it was interesting that I watched this. I think it was the demo video that you put up, CJ. I only watched a few minutes of it because they had the screen stretched to 16:9.
Well,
so I couldn't handle it. But
it was a Game Explained video.
Of
them running through, and they had like the product manager, Sega America, like talking them through it. And yes, they did have it stretched, although the Sega guy reveals that M2, it's not just stretching. M2 went through and actually adjusted screen elements.
Really?
For 16:9.
Oh man.
Yes.
God, I love those guys.
So
by the way,
don't say stretched without also listening to that bit, which I was very interested to hear.
I didn't pay attention to it long enough. By the way, speaking of M2,
and they switched it back in a little. Fast forward a little in that video.
The My Life in Gaming guys did a documentary about M2 that they did recently, and we should put a link to that in show notes because it is fantastic. They did a great job, and it's super interesting to hear about them. Of course, that team exists because they decided they wanted to put Gauntlet on the Mega Drive.
Oh,
and
really?
They just went ahead and did it, and that's how they became M2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Gauntlet, the 4-player Gauntlet on the Mega Drive, that was M2's first game.
That's crazy.
And it was literally a couple people doing it in an apartment because they wanted to. So, and that's the philosophy that whole team has still. So anyway, the Genesis Mini was like, I thought it was interesting that in that video, because I think it started out the language was set to Japanese. I think.
French.
It was French, sorry. And all the cases were the French all the images were the French cases.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And then when they switched it to English, all the images went to the English cases. The North American case. This is kind of nice little touch.
Yeah.
And there is a CRT filter in there that they switched on later.
Yeah, M2's been doing that for a while.
Yeah. But anyway, it looks great, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very much. But I am excited for even though it was pushed back, Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Nice to see something about Animal Crossing.
Nice to see it's not just going to be Animal Crossing.
Right.
It's a little different.
Doing something a little new with it, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything they showed on that new Animal Crossing was great. every little bit. Like I watched the Treehouse Live video, and you can play your town with up to 7 other people inside of it.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
So that's fun. You can play local. You can have a second player drop in local on the same screen. That's cool. You can place furniture and items outside of your house now, which is cool. So you can fully customize the island. And it looks like you have to craft a lot of the items. You don't just buy them from Nook anymore.
Although I did love that the teaser video ended with Tom Nook handing you a bill.
For 49,800 bells.
Like, you little bastard.
That is awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to play this one. Yeah. I don't mind the wait. March 2020 is not really that far away. No. And the game looks fantastic.
And I'm excited again. Phil said this previously about another game. Excited to play it with my kids. This will be the first sort of Animal Crossing game that we can play on the television
together.
Since that we'll be able to play together, and I'm actually really excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And it sounds like it's built for it.
Yeah,
it does.
So yeah,
as long as I can convince him to not run around chopping down every tree. I'm
a little worried about that.
That is the one thing. Yeah,
that is. Yeah,
with Animal Crossing on the 3DS, my daughter played a little bit of that, and we shared the same town. Yeah, and she would like run through flowers, and they would disappear. And so it's like, what are you doing? Don't.
Yeah, you said up to 8 people in a town.
Yeah,
and we could have a town with just ourselves and our kids.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, yeah. Because what was it? I remember years ago playing the Wii Animal Crossing. Because that one you could have people online visit your town.
Yeah, and you can do that in New Leaf also, but
but this this predates Finn. So, but I was playing it with one of Dana, my wife, one of her cousins. She had a cousin who was obviously 10, 11 years younger at the time of that game's release, and he had been playing the game. And when he found out I was playing, he was like, "Oh, you got to let me come to your town." I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." And I let him in my town, and he was a cool kid. I knew him. I'd met him and hung out with him several times, So I was like, "Yeah, come on into my town. You can get some fruit. You can whatever." And he shows up and immediately just starts chopping the trees down. And I'm like, "What?" I'm yelling at him to stop, and I finally just had to choose the option to boot him out of the town because I'm yelling at him. "Why are you chopping?" And he was chopping down my fruit trees.
The important ones.
Yeah, it's like not even the empty trees, but the actual fruit trees. And I had to boot his ass out, and I never invited him back.
In that respect, I wonder if the process of getting online with your town will be the same, because before you had to like open the gate.
I remember it being a little clunky.
It was a whole process, right? And that seems a little archaic in 2019 to do it that way.
Right.
But the concerns about people coming in and immediately chopping down trees exist as well. So I've talked about this game on the show before. Farm Together is an online farming game, and you can have it's 8+ players come to your town or your farm and do stuff. And the way it works there is that you can bring up a user list and assign them roles, or basically say like anybody who comes in, they have this role and can do this.
Yeah.
So there's like the most stringent one of those is like they can come in and they can water plants and they can harvest things that are ready.
Anything else?
But they can't place like new crops or anything like that. You can grant users permission to do that if you want, especially if it's somebody like one of your online friends.
Unless it's Dana's cousin, then screw that.
So I wonder if they will handle it in that way, or if the Animal Crossing team has thought of how they're going to do that with 8 players in a town. Like that could get real bad real quick.
Man.
Could have a lot of online griefers with that. All right, Greg?
I'm uncomfortable with you using the term griefers.
Yeah, that felt weird.
Why? What?
What? I mean, you're old, dude. It sounds
Griefers.
Yeah.
Lamau.
Yeah.
All right.
Lamau?
I said Lamau.
What number are we on?
I don't know what number we're on. We're just going down.
I don't care. Okay, I'm just going to go through stuff that I like here. Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah, I'm going to save that for my last thing, but oh my god, I'm so excited about Luigi's Mansion 3.
One of the very, very few games I actually played at E3 this year was Luigi's Mansion 3, and it was really fun.
Yeah,
the whole capturing the ghost mechanic and then just slamming them all over, just beating the crap out of them, was really satisfying and really fun.
It'll take over from Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 as the best Ghostbusters game out there.
I'm sure that it will.
No, I'm just and I'm looking at it. The only thing that I'm hoping for, and it didn't come, and again, I didn't watch the Treehouse stuff, and it didn't really come through in the direct, is Luigi himself and how cowardly he is. It's a huge, the charm of that is a huge element of the game.
Yes.
So I really hope, and I have faith that they did. I really hope they got it right, because
they seem to have maintained that.
Good
in this.
Because I played through. I mean, we've talked about Luigi's Mansion on the show before, but last October I played through Luigi's Mansion on my Twitch stream, because a lot of people that watch my channel hadn't seen it before. I'm like, oh, you're in for a treat. Plus, it's one of my favorite games ever. So you're in for a treat. And I mean, to a person, everybody fell in love with Luigi. Right. When he's running through the house and he's humming along to the tune, but in a shaky little voice, and he's so scared, and it's just like he's adorable right from the start. And it sounds ridiculous, but it was a huge draw for that game.
Absolutely.
So I hope they got that right. But I mean, as long as they got that right, everything else looked great. I'm so excited for that game.
You got Luigi.
I can even get past the Luigi thing.
Which, I hope that doesn't awaken anything in me. But we'll see what happens.
So on the Treehouse video, they talked a little bit about Luigi, and they revealed something that I don't think was known before. Is that originally they developed Luigi, who, by the way, is in the remake of Luigi's Mansion for 3DS as well.
Okay.
But they originally developed Luigi as a thing when there was a Luigi's Mansion game, Luigi's Mansion 3, being done for the Wii U.
Oh,
what?
So this game has been in development for quite a while. Originally on the Wii U, and is being brought obviously to Switch now.
Wow,
but I thought that was cool. Also, this game just looks really damn good.
It does.
I know the Switch is underpowered, whatever, blah blah blah, but man, when you get a team that knows how to make a game and an art style
there you go,
that looks as good as this one, damn, it looks good. Like everything they showed is just like, oh, so good.
Right.
And the online mode now is up to 8 players. So you can have 4 Luigis and 4 Gooigis playing in
Are the Luigis all different colors?
Yes, they're all different colors.
All right, there we go.
But that looks super awesome as well, and can be played locally and over the internet. And I'm very, very excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3 was at the top of my excitement list.
Yeah.
The original Luigi's Mansion, and I think I've said this on the show, it's like a game that I love that nobody liked at the time because they were expecting Mario 64 2 or whatever for the launch of the GameCube. And I was so stoked when they did a sequel. Yeah. And now we get a third game. It's just like it's so good.
Yep.
I think I gave the original a 9. Like, I love the original Luigi's
Mansion.
It was a
good game.
That's one of my favorites.
It's a very good game that people
played
wrote off because it wasn't Mario 64 2.
Yeah.
So
I get understandable at the time, but they didn't give it the shake that I thought it deserved. But anyway.
Yeah, it had more to do with marketing than anything. I think it felt like they pulled a bit of a bait and switch on that one.
Yeah,
but I loved it.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and say Phantasy Star Online 2.
That was pretty big news.
Yeah, big news.
Community, but
yeah, and apparently it's not just going to be on Xbox. It's going to come to other platforms as well. But I'm excited about it. Finally.
Yep. It's been a long wait.
Quite a long wait. I'm excited to hop in. And it's a free to play game, right? Pretty sure. So excited to hop in and try it. Yeah, I thought that was a big announcement, though. I mean, you could kind of put that together with another Sega announcement. I don't know if this is on your list there, Greg.
What do you think?
I think it is from the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't, and it was done with such little fanfare. They showed like a remastered first level of Panzer Dragoon,
which holy cow,
and it looked beautiful.
It looked great. Which, by the way, I think this was announced a couple months ago with just a press release and no screenshots. Really? Yeah, do you remember that announcement where it was like this company nobody heard of announced Panzer Dragoon coming to new consoles, and we were like, they didn't show any screenshots, and who the hell is this company? Like, that's not going to be a real thing. And then here it is.
Here it is
on the Switch.
Yeah. I mean, and
the Nintendo Direct.
And more than anything, too, I just love seeing stuff like that because it did come out earlier this year that Sega was just like, we're going to be concentrating more on our back catalog.
Yeah,
a little more on our back catalog, which is great. I mean, they've become quite good at mining their old stuff, and it doesn't feel like they do constantly re-release certain things, but it's not feeling like they're constantly re-releasing the same things to us over and over again. So, to see that this is going to be like a remade version of Panzer Dragoon, super excited for that.
Yeah, and it looked great.
Yep.
Looked really good.
Yeah. There you go. They were announced months ago.
Yeah, months ago they were.
Yes. I don't care. We haven't seen them yet. Now we've seen them.
We had not seen them.
Yeah, both PSO2 and Panzer Dragoon were on my list as well.
Yeah.
Man. Now, because PSO2 has been out for quite some time in Japan, right?
Yeah, like 5 or 6 years. It's been out for a long time.
And I have not followed any of it. I've not read anything about it just because I loved PSO so much, and it just breaks my heart that I can't play it right now.
Yeah.
But
let's make sure we're not Dr. Disrespected on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it totally
behind you there,
getting ready to pee on your carpet back there.
What the heck are you doing? Oh, he's pulling up his shorts.
That's not what it looked like when he had his back to the camera when he started. I was like, what is he doing?
He's got a little tie on the front of his shirt.
Okay.
Make sure they're tied enough so they don't fall down.
Dr. Disrespected. That was on my list too, actually.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. That's what you were excited about? What?
But I just remember PSU.
And how terrible it was.
Terrible and disappointing. That
one of the earliest games we talked about on this show, actually.
Yeah. But even that, like playing some of the Phantasy Star portable games that came out. I mean, they were okay. They were better than PSU.
Yeah, but
they weren't.
They didn't reach those heights of the original PSO.
Exactly.
So I hope PSO2 is as good as the original. I guess
I hope so too.
Here in the West. So
we'll know in 2020.
Yes. Exactly.
Exciting.
Yeah, there you go.
Greg, did you want to? Or wait, Phil, did you have something else?
Did you? Oh, sorry.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna Finn, put that down. Go. Finn, go. Oh my gosh, here he is. Finn, I'm gonna be out in a second. Oh my gosh, I got family time here.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go while you're.
Greg's up.
I'm gonna keep it on the Sega tip here and limited run. I watched the limited run thing as well, which obviously didn't get as much press. And they, I mean, their whole thing is like just a shotgun of all the different games they're going to be bringing out. But I was really happy to see Corpse Killer and Double Switch. Two more old Sega CD full motion video games.
Double Switch they had announced, or
had they?
Yeah, Double Switch had been announced previously.
Okay,
as coming to new consoles, not a physical release, I don't think.
Right.
But
okay. So anyway,
Screaming Villains said they were doing it.
Being done by Scream. Both of them are being done by Screaming Villains.
That's right.
And these are unlike Night Trap, which was filmed in the 80s for a different console, for the Nemo, and then bought by Sega and Sony, I think, and put onto other consoles. These were games that Digital Pictures created during that time frame, or in the early 90s. So it's kind of fun to, and I mean, Double Switch is basically Night Trap. It's basically an upgraded Night Trap. So super excited to see that, just because I'm really, not because I have any particular love for those specific games, but just really like that this is happening. That they're being preserved, because those full motion video games on the Sega CD have been such a joke for so long. And I get it. I get why, but I also think they're actually a really important part of the history of the industry. Because that was a time when not the entire industry thought they were going to go that way, but there were a lot of people who thought that was a branch of the industry that was going to flourish. And so it's great to see them coming back with better video to play on modern consoles, so that people can experience them, and those of us who do have fond memories of them can have updated copies. So super excited about that, and I hope they really keep going. And they had some other really cool stuff in there, like the Turok 1 and 2 on the Switch, and there's a couple other good things that they announced. So
yeah, totally.
So yeah, super excited about that. Oh, and the other thing, staying on the limited run thing, the deal with LucasArts. Re-releasing a bunch of classic LucasArts stuff.
The Star Wars thing.
Star Wars, and they're doing the PC updates or the re-releases for like Monkey Island, and
are they
really other things? Yeah, like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and I think all that stuff's happening.
I just saw the Star Wars announcement. I didn't.
They're doing NES cartridges for the Star Wars stuff, but then they're also doing PC,
like the Game Boy, like Star Wars Game Boy is coming out. But are they doing other LucasArts games beyond the Star Wars?
They are. Yeah, they clarified it later, but if you watch the actual, they tease it at the end, and there's a bar of the Monkey Island music. After the screen goes black, you hear just I think it's a single bar of the Monkey Island theme. And it was enough for me to go, hey, wait a minute, that's not Star Wars music. And yeah, Monkey Island. So that was part of the deal as well. So I'm not sure what the full breadth of the deal is, but it sounds like it's going to be awesome. Like, I think we're talking about like Dark Forces and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and I'm hoping maybe even like the Indiana Jones text adventures, or Monkey Island are definitely talking about.
You mean like Fate of Atlantis?
Yeah.
I mean, not a text adventure.
Well, whatever.
Adventure game.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fate of Atlantis is outstanding, by the way.
Last Crusade, not so much, but it was still fun to have an Indiana Jones game.
Right, exactly.
So, but anyway, just because I was talking about limited run.
Right.
There's a couple exciting things that they talked about, and the LucasArts deal, I think, is huge for them.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And they're, I gotten to meet them a couple times. They're great guys, and they're super happy that they're successful and with the stuff they're doing. So,
well, you know what, I'm gonna. I don't know if this is. We're probably going out of order, but this is tying into talk about old Star Wars stuff. The folks at Arcade 1-Up, who that's the company that's doing those kind of small scale arcade units.
Yes,
that you've been able to buy for the past year or so. They announced at the show that they are doing a Star Wars cabinet.
Which, what's that great yoke controller?
Yep, it's going to be the Vector Graphics Star Wars game. and the Vector Graphics Empire Strikes Back game, and then the Return of the Jedi game, which was not a Vector Graphics game, but still used the Yoke controller.
And so then, I mean, on top of that, they also announced the Marvel and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinets. The TMNT one, of course, 4 players.
4 players, which they had both of those at the show. Playable. They had them out on the floor. But then, and boy, they looked great.
I was gonna say, when I was looking at that, I was thinking, like, man, like, it'd be so great to have, like, I don't know, 3,000 fuck you dollars laying around where and some space, because you could have a nice little arcade setup with their stuff now, and they've got some good cabs out there. So
and you know, the turtle one looked outstanding, and it has all the artwork. You know, it has the classic artwork from the first arcade game on the side.
Oh, great! When Konami was doing like the live actors, is the
man, the woman dressed up as April. And you know, because I mean, those cabinets are short.
Yeah, that's the only problem with them.
Even for me.
Haha.
But you know, they do sell risers for them that add maybe about a foot or so of height to them. And you know, they've had those for a while for their existing cabinets, but they've just been kind of like solid black with, I think, maybe their logo on it. But now they're starting to do licensed risers as well. So they had the Turtles machines propped up on Turtles risers, so the graphics match and they look really nice. And they're going to be selling stools that you know to sit on while you play the game, and they had a few stool samples on the floor.
This is the whole point of this, was to get that joke in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're not actually doing stools, right?
No, they actually
are. They are.
That was a whole bit there.
But they're licensed again, so you can get a stool that has the Turtles arcade artwork on it.
Oh, okay.
One that has like Marvel artwork on it.
It would just be cool. I mean, to have those, you know, it wouldn't be as great as having the original cabinets, obviously, but the original cabinets are big and heavy, and they're breaking down. They're old.
Right.
You know, to be able to, if you had like a room, and I mean, all of their machines are nice, but even to have like 4 or 5 of them in there because they all have multiple games on them would be so cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a few that I've wanted and I've held off just because space. Really, I mean, they're what, like $200-300, but I think they're about $300.
Yeah, they're about, I think, 400 here. So
really, so they're, I mean, they're not, you know, I mean, they're expensive certainly, but they're not unobtainably expensive. But yeah, it's just kind of like
it's a space thing.
Yeah, it's a space thing. And I saw that, you know, they showed off the Turtles one, and I'm like, oh crap, that might be the one I break and get, because it's got Turtles, it's got Turtles in Time. Both great games, both very replayable. What's that?
We're talking about renovating here.
Oh yeah,
at the end of the year, and we might get to the point where we have like a bit of a rec room.
Oh,
and it might scrape together a few $100 to put 1 or 2 of those machines in there.
Yeah. And the Marvel one was great. Cause that one's got X-Men: Children of the Atom. It's got the Marvel superheroes. Both of those are one-on-one fighting games. And then it has Capcom's Punisher arcade game, which is a kind of a Final Fight type beat 'em up, which was the only home port of that was on the Genesis.
Yeah. And it's expensive.
Yeah, it's like
highly sought after.
Stupid expensive these days, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, both of those look great. And again, with all like the licensed risers and the stools and stuff, it would be just a really pretty setup to have in your home. But geez, when they announced the Star Wars one, that might be the one I break and buy.
Yeah.
And
but if they're going into more licensed stuff too, you have to wonder what could be coming down in the future, right? Like basically opens it up to the Simpsons arcade game.
And the other thing, when
Tron.
I went to when I went to their site though, I didn't realize this, but unless I've read this wrong, they basically sell conversion kits for those cabinets too. Basically, if you buy one and then you decide you want it to be something different, you don't need to buy a new cabinet. You can just buy the board.
Oh wow, really?
Really?
That's what they're from looking at their website. That looks like the way it works.
Huh.
That's cool.
Actually,
So if that's the case,
I'm
and
there
they're
right
easy to
now.
swap,
Yeah,
buy
look,
one.
yeah, it's like they sell the PCBs, and you can even buy the
Controller
panels and the
Mhm.
button sets for them and stuff. So
Crazy.
yeah,
So I mean, you could have one machine that you could just swap out every now and then if you feel like going that route.
right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I was diving down that rabbit hole too because I was like you. I mean, the Star Wars one looks really cool. It's not really a selling point for me,
Right.
because I don't have a lot of really fond memories of that game. But Turtles, oh my god,
Oh yeah, but
I played that game so much when I was a kid.
and yeah, and again, the Star Wars one is well, it's funny too because it's like I don't believe I ever saw the Empire or Jedi game in the
No.
wild back in the day. I don't think I ever played those back then.
I definitely never saw Jedi.
But that Star Wars game,
Oh,
I
yeah.
played the hell out of every time because it was in just about every arcade that I frequented. And
Same.
whenever I saw it, I'd have to sit down and play a round of it just because it was one of the most exciting arcade experiences back in the day because you had the Star Wars music going. You had the tinny sounding voice samples though.
Mm-hmm.
You blow up the Death Star and Obi-Wan, like the little victory music plays from the movie, and Obi-Wan gives you the remember the Force will be with you always. And I'm just like, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm 6 years old and I'm Luke Skywalker. You know? It was, well, I wouldn't have been 6. When did that game come out? 7, 8, I don't know. Whatever the case is, it was amazing. So,
yes.
oh yeah, that might be the one I break and pick up. So we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe Turtles too. I don't know.
I forget who we're on here.
I don't even know anymore.
Your turn. My
Who,
turn.
me?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I will go ahead and say it was really interesting to finally see Final Fantasy VII Remake
Yes.
in action. But I have mixed feelings about it for sure.
Same.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest thing for me. I think it looks great.
Yes.
The biggest thing for me is, and they showed this boss fight in the stream, and they had to like cut away a bunch of it, but it was like it's a boss fight, I guess, early in the game. But
yeah, it's the first boss fight from.
Seemed like it was taking freaking forever.
Yeah,
and I was like, is this really how long it's gonna take to defeat this? And then at the end, they showed a very short clip of like the awards that the player got at the end of it, and it was like 100 gold or whatever. I was like, what? Like, you spent 25 minutes on this boss and it gives you 100 whatever. I'm sure that's just because it's a prototype build or whatever. But I was like, this cannot be like how long boss fights are. If there are no settings to shorten things up, I don't think I'll be playing FF7 Remake.
I think yeah, I agree with you. I had that was one of my issues. My other was the banter during that fight was just like, dear God, shut up, please.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it was like the boss fight was so long because they had to have these discussions, like on what to do and the strategy, like. Yeah.
But that being said, I think it's an interesting way to go. It's not just a bog standard Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think some people will love and some people will hate because that's probably what they were hoping for. But I think it's cool that they're going to, and it makes sense as to why it's taken so long now. It's cool that they're going to dive back into that world. Mm-hmm. They're going to use the original game as a blueprint to create something different. And I'm interested to see how it goes. Now, when I hear that this is part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, dear God, how long are we going to
undetermined amount of
how long are we going to be waiting for the rest?
It's going to be 2 discs already, and it's not
that
even
worries me.
The full game. I was like, whoa. Yeah. But I mean, if every boss fight is a sort of bespoke environment that you are running around and they're having all these conversations in between things, and it really looks cinematic. Like, holy crap. Like,
oh yeah,
they took a game that had very straightforward boss fights and made it like a friggin' movie. It's great.
So it look, I'm interested. I'm excited. I do want to play it. I have some reservations, but yeah,
Definitely.
Overall, it was nice to see it. It was nice to finally see it. And man, talk about getting a
we got
crowd
release
into
date.
it.
Got a release date too.
Talk about getting a crowd into it. Like that crowd during the Square Enix thing was pumped.
They were so pumped.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Xbox Remote Play. It's very exciting to me.
Did Sony do that already?
Sony did do that. I wish they had made advancements in that area, but they have not. I'm super excited about playing Xbox games on the go on my mobile device. I think that'll be good. That's what I'm interested in doing with a game streaming service. Like, I'm not interested in spending, like we talked about last week, not interested in spending $60 on a streaming version of blank Ubisoft game. Like, I'm interested in playing the games I already own streaming. So yeah. Very excited about Xbox's version of Remote Play, which I'm sure will, as I also said last week, will become what people think of when they think of Remote Play. I think Xbox did it first.
Yep, probably.
So, I'm down with it. So. Anyway, anybody else have things on their list? Are we almost? I'm surprised we haven't talked about.
We have two more things.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, the one. I'm interested in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, just because it's a Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's. I mean, the player character just is kind of like, okay, whatever, just kind of a bland looking dude, but
then again, like, the player character in Titanfall 2 was unremarkable entirely, and that is one of the best first person shooter stories I've ever played. Right.
There you go.
So, like, Respawn can certainly do it.
This one has lightsabers and Star Wars music, so I'm interested.
Yeah.
So there we go. I will pick that up. And the only other thing I have on my list is the winner of the show for me.
Yeah,
and I think CJ knows what it is.
I do. I'm sure it's on Greg's list too. Well, maybe.
Of course, to the TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Yeah, boy, that came out of nowhere, huh?
Well, Konami said they had some kind of surprise announcement that they were going to make on Twitch.
But, I mean, knowing Konami,
and
what they've been for the last 10 years, wasn't expecting that.
No, I was expecting maybe because they did Castlevania and Contra collections, maybe a Metal Gear something,
right?
But I didn't expect.
Well, it sounds like a lot of people got kind of pissed at Konami because they were expecting something like, oh, we're doing a new Castlevania, or here's some Metal Gear thing. And then they're like, oh, hey, it's the TurboGrafx. That
they forgot that Konami bought Hudson.
Yeah. We know nobody here in the US cares about the TurboGrafx 16, but we're making a TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
What I'd really love to see, I think, and I mentioned this to CJ earlier in the week in a chat, like, Konami is suddenly in the game space again. Like, they're going concern in the game space again, even going so far as to announce a pretty maligned new Contra game.
I think we'll talk about that in a bit,
which we might talk about in a bit. But I mean, and they're not outside of that, they're not screwing it up.
Yeah,
like, not only are they a thing again, but like, they're doing it. Like, the Contra collection is excellent.
Yeah,
the Castlevania collection was excellent. Hopefully they're using M2 for the TurboGrafx thing. But I mean, they're doing the mini console. It seems like they're smart enough to use M2 for this stuff. Yeah. The fact that they're doing it in 3 different regions and they're doing it with 3 different versions,
right?
Fantastic. Because
I always wanted to own a PC Engine or a Core Graphics.
I love the Core Graphics. And if you're into sort of like system, like interesting system designs, do yourself a favor and just go look up the entire PC Engine library.
Yes,
because they had some wild designs. Yeah,
the shuttle graphics.
Jesus,
the
super graphics, and it's just the weirdest, craziest, most wonderful designs.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not even a big TurboGrafx guy, and I'm pretty excited about this. I hope it's not super expensive, and I hope they have a lot of games. They haven't said how many games they're going to have yet, have they?
No, they only announced 6, right?
And I love that some of them are CD-ROM games.
They've announced 6. Yeah. They've also, of the 6 that they announced, there were some differences between the like US and Japan.
Yeah,
right.
But we don't know yet if they're going to have different libraries or they're just announcing different ones in different regions.
Exactly.
Because everyone was saying that they saw a flash of Rondo of Blood on the announced trailer.
Yeah. So I am super psyched. I love the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
And I have been dying for a good way to play these games again.
Some mini console collections going.
Mini console.
Yeah.
And, you get the Mega Drive, which has gotten great reviews from people who read it, who played it there. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Although I will say I would also love to see Konami do some TurboGrafx, some Hudson collections on the consoles as well. That'd be a nice option.
Yeah. Sure. On my Twitter account, I did put together a wish list that you may have seen of I assumed 30 titles was a nice.
And what they should do in addition to that, they should just throw the 6 or 8 games from the Super Graphics on there.
Yeah, they should.
That's true.
That would
the
be
extra.
Some deep cuts. That'd be great.
Yeah. That'd be fantastic. You do a Konami code on the title screen, and then the Super Graphics games show up.
I dig it.
I'd be down with that. Didn't they do a Strider for the Super Graphics?
Yep.
Yeah.
Strider. They also did one for the PC Engine CD, and it is something else.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've not played that one.
It's a weird game.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the arcade, but they put a bunch of cinemas in that were different.
Weird. Now, if they're doing CD-ROM games, are they going to have the famous line about Steve being too stingy?
Well, only if Last Alert.
Only if Last Alert is on there.
Last Alert. That Last Alert as a game, the game was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cinemas, it had like anime style cinemas, and the US voice acting is
horrendous.
Famously bad. I mean, it's clearly like 2 people doing different voices. At one point, you have what is very clearly a white guy trying to do like an Asian. I think he's doing like a Chinese accent or something, and it is. I mean, I'm not even gonna do an impersonation of it because it's
so bad.
It's really bad, and yeah, everyone's just terrible voice acting.
Is that game even any good though?
Well, yeah, that's what I just said.
You just said it was good.
It's actually a pretty decent game.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know how well it holds up. I haven't played it since, back in the 90s, but I enjoyed the actual game. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the cinemas are very worth watching because they are hilarious in how bad they are. But boy, are they bad.
But I do hope that I could buy like the core graphics and switch my region to the US and play all the TurboGrafx 16 games, because I have no nostalgia for the machine itself. I do have nostalgia for drooling over the various variants of the PC Engine that came out in Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, I do have plenty of TG16 nostalgia, so I'm super stoked.
But the question is, will you be able to buy a stand that includes the CD-ROM drive and then the awesome like briefcase style connector? God, I love the PC Engine hardware. It's so or I made the joke on Twitter almost immediately, like I want my Turbo Booster Mini to go with my TurboGrafx 16, which a lot of people probably don't remember, but when you have the TurboGrafx, the back half of that system is literally an empty shell that hides a socket for something called a Turbo Booster that you buy separately, and that gave you what AV out, because otherwise it was RF only.
TurboGrafx was just RF. And yeah, if you look at the design of the TurboGrafx Mini, you can actually see there's
molded the shell there.
TurboGrafx itself is just kind of rectangular, and there is a clear divide of this empty shell that you just would pop off, and you
it's just literally a big socket in there.
You would either plug in your turbo booster, which gave you the AV out, or that's where you would plug in the CD-ROM drive.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing too that I never really realized until more recently is that the CD-ROM drive was literally just a portable CD-ROM drive, more or less, right? Like
in fact, you could use it that way.
It's a big, what the system plugs into is a big case, that houses both things. And in Japan, the disk drive and the PC Engine were the same dimensions, more or less.
Yeah.
So the case was like this big rectangular thing, but here it sat on top, and so cool. It's so interesting to go back and look at all that stuff. And then they redesigned it again for the core and the shuttle, and
Yep.
I actually was it last night? A couple of years ago, I dug up. I was looking through a bunch of old VHS tapes that I had, and I found an old sales promotional video from NEC.
Nice.
About the TurboGrafx, and I had like a cheap little capture card, and so I put it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I actually sat down and rewatched it yesterday, just kind of like because I was getting all hyped for the TurboGrafx again. And at one point when they're on the video when they're promoting the CD-ROM drive, they do make a point that you can actually detach the actual CD-ROM unit from the whole machine and use it as a portable
CD audio player.
Yeah, they show a kid holding it with his headphones plugged in, and he's bopping and dancing. And of course,
that's what you did back then.
And of course, if you tried to do that with the actual unit, that CD would be skipping like crazy.
Oh,
we all know the best portable CD-ROM video game unit.
Well, yeah,
is CDX.
CDX,
which I just happen to have sitting right here. But
I have my CDX as well. Don't mistake that.
My favorite thing about the TurboGrafx 16 CD add-on, though, was the size of the box that it came in at retail.
Because it also included a massive plastic briefcase that held the whole thing. You could
but the box is so
at Radio Shack so many times.
Huge. I was like, why is the box this big?
Phil's going to get his. Phil's going to get his. No, I just remember, and somebody mentioned it in the chat. I remember going to Radio Shack because Radio Shack was the distributor for this stuff pretty much in Canada. I don't know if it was in the US, and just standing there and watching Ease run on demo, and like I would never, ever be able to afford this thing.
Yeah. Most retailers did not carry the TurboGrafx.
No.
The US.
There it is.
There's
my turbo.
Look at that thing.
But the box for that thing was huge.
It was gigantic. It was absolutely gigantic. Let's see.
Bigger than any modern video game box.
Phil's going to drop his PC Engine CD-ROM on camera.
Yeah, probably.
There it is.
Look at that thing.
Two friends.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, and then I got my Super System Card 3.0.
Yeah, and you can actually tell. You can tell there that is what the TurboGrafx 16 actually looks like. The big piece on the back with where that socket is covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, we've digressed here, but
we really have.
But it was an exciting announcement. It came completely out of nowhere.
Yep.
And
there we go.
Well, the last thing on my list is was the opener for the Xbox event, The Outer Worlds from Obsidian Entertainment. I think
looks good.
It looks awesome, and is I really like Fallout, and this is going to give me that Fallout feeling that I dropped off of 76. But this looks awesome, and I'm happy that it's going to be a Game Pass game too. So, yeah,
very cool.
Yep. Excited about that. Any other stragglers you guys got?
That's all I got.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff. I gotta say, in general, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that this was a lackluster E3.
I disagree with that.
I disagree because I made a list of games that I would like to play that they showed, and it came to almost 40.
There's a ton. Yeah,
like there's a lot of stuff that I want to try out.
There's a ton. We didn't even talk about things like Ghostwire Tokyo.
Looked amazing.
Awesome. But of course, no gameplay. It was just sort of a cinematic, but it looked cool.
12 minutes looks really good.
Yep.
I'm hearing that Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is actually really good.
Yeah.
So excited about that. I mean, Blair Witch, Cyberpunk, Legend of Right. Yeah, I know we're not supposed to like Cyberpunk now.
Well, yeah. How about Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition?
Very cool.
That looks awesome. They did a Treehouse Live segment on that I watched, and they showed off all of the things that you can do and the segments that are in 2D, revisit classic Dragon Quest moments in 2D, including like Dragon Quest VIII, but in 2D. You can change your costume and the look of your party without actually like de-equipping items from them, so you can change their look to like whatever style you want to have.
Cool.
Without making their items awful. You can change yourself into the hero from Dragon Quest VIII, and you can have the field music for Dragon Quest VIII while you're playing.
That's cool.
If that's the way you roll.
What are the other things we didn't mention?
So many cool things.
Dragon Quest Builders 2, which I thought of you the whole time they showed that, CJ.
Yes, I have pre-downloaded, pre-purchased that. Very excited about it.
The Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Very
unexpected, but I'm down with it.
I think the only other thing for me, though, worth looking at or worth talking about is the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go into our not as exciting list, and and this is the reason why I want to mention that in talking about Avengers, the whole cutscenes and not showing gameplay and kind of talking around the game and not just showing us what the thing looks like while playing was a trend this year that I did not like.
That's not a new thing, though.
It's not a new thing, but it seemed to happen with larger games that I feel like in previous years we probably would have seen a portion of, right? Yeah. And it didn't happen for whatever reason. And I'm talking about games like Gears 5 that are coming out fairly soon that you're not going to show us like a section of gameplay. Like in the case of Gears, I played the first 2 Gears of War games and kind of dropped off. I would have liked to have seen like what the new one is going to offer, and that didn't happen. But it happened with a bunch of games, and I'm just not a fan. And then Avengers, they had that sit-down interview with the voice actors, which would have been cool if it was like additional content in addition to you've seen the game. But it was like, oh man, you guys, like my character, so good. And it was like, what? We haven't even seen the game. Like, it seemed weird.
Tony Stark is cool, so
I mean, I'm excited for it from the standpoint of I like that they're not going MCU, just because I don't think you can. There's never going to be a moment where you're not disappointing at that point,
right?
The fact that it's Crystal Dynamics gives me lots of hope. Because the Tomb Raider games have been fantastic for the last little while. But I have to agree with the internet when I say that I don't like the characters' designs.
Well, the problem is, and I'm sure people have gone on about this already. It's like I get that you're not doing the MCU, and I don't know if it is it's too expensive to get the actors' likenesses,
probably,
or we want to differentiate ourselves and be a completely new.
That's definitely part of it.
We don't want to be beholden to that story, that has been going on for 10 years.
Sure,
we want to do our. But if you're not gonna do the MCU, make your characters a little more stylized. Make
look
them
like the comic books.
Yeah.
Don't make them look like not really Chris Evans. But they're trying to go for that. We want it to look realistic and we want it to look like an actual person. But it's like
it wasn't really working.
The public has spent 10 years getting used to actual person Tony Stark looking like Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he doesn't, and everyone's just like, eh. But if it stylized more, if you made it look like you said, like the comic book or something like that, then I don't think there'd be any complaints. I mean,
I'd be good. Honestly, I'd be good if they just looked as good as, say, something out of Tomb Raider. Because that's my bigger problem. My bigger problem is not the fact that they don't look like the actors from the MCU, because I think, again, you get into that situation and you're just going to disappoint no matter what. But to me, they just don't look very good, period.
Yeah.
They're not like, even if they got to, like, say, like I said, Tomb Raider or Uncharted levels of, they're not there. They're just not there.
No.
So it's a shame. But I am excited about it.
They went to great lengths to, I mean, they showed a trailer with a bunch of cutscenes, and then they showed a cutscene between, I forget who exactly. It was like Tony Stark and
it was the Hulk.
Yeah, it was like an extended scene from the trailer they showed.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and it was a total sort of nothing kind of throwaway. Like, why did you even show us this? And it didn't look good. It was like, you're showing us this. Why exactly? Like, but then are you showing off your character modeling or animation? I couldn't get behind it.
But then I also loved that, because of the fact they're not MCU, hey, Hank Pym shows up,
right?
And he's using his Pym particle to shrink a gigantic boss. It's like,
awesome. And it sounds like they want to add more and more Marvel characters into this thing, right?
Yeah, they've got like a 1 year or 2 year plan or something like that, where they're going to be releasing new characters and content, and they're saying they're not going to charge. There's a lot there to be excited about. But yes, I have to agree with the internet in saying that the characters, they need work. They need work.
Yeah.
You look at Ultimate Alliance 3,
which looks great.
Yes, good. I'm excited.
It looks amazing.
Characters are all clearly based on kind of the comic incarnations of them, right?
Yep.
And
it
looks great. It looks really cool. So I don't know.
But I hope they figure it out. I will play it. I am excited about it. It's Crystal Dynamics, which means I want to give it a shot no matter what. But I really hope it looks better by the time it comes out.
Yeah. Speaking of not looking great, Contra Rogue Core. Now, so this came up in the direct, and about it being a Contra game, and wow, did it just look rough? Just like, how low a resolution do you have to get into for all these textures, and especially coming out of something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, like we were just talking about, looking so good, to suddenly have this like muddy, kind of bad looking Contra game that's going to be a multiplayer thing. I did not know where that trailer was coming from. Like, okay.
Yeah, the models look old. It looked like it was for another, like some old system,
like a PS2 game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about like I saw some people complaining about things like the panda, and I don't care. I mean, God, Hardcore had a wolf in it, and let's have some fun. But this doesn't look good.
I will say, so I watched an IGN video that showed more gameplay, and it doesn't look awful. But I don't think it's what you would want coming out of like Contra Anniversary Collection. Like, we're gonna a revival of the Contra franchise or something. Like, I don't know. Like, how much are you gonna charge for this?
You get like sort of Legacy of War vibes looking at this trailer. I'm just watching it again, and that's
Legacy of War.
That's where my brain goes. Remember those multiple failed attempts at a 3D Contra game?
Yes. Now that you mentioned
that's what it feels like.
And you know what's breaking my heart about it is I found out that a couple of my favorite comic writers and artists worked on this game.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Evan Dorkin,
Oh, yeah.
who is the created like Milk and Cheese and Dork and the Eltingville Club, some of my favorite comics, and Sarah Dyer, who's I mean, she's married to Evan and they do a lot of work together, and she's done a ton of her own stuff as well. But they, right after this game was announced, Evan and Sarah both popped on Twitter, and they were like, hey, we can finally announce, we can finally talk about this game we've been working on for, months ago. We did our work on it. It's this new Contra game that just got announced, and it turns out they did a lot of writing on the game.
Okay.
And I'm just like, cool, that's great, because I love their writing and they're really funny and that sort of thing. But now I'm like, seeing turns out like, the actual game is not looking that great. I'm just like, I still want to play it just because I really like their work and I want to see the story they came up with, because it's probably going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And fun, which is great. But oh man, if the game is the game surrounding the story is that rough, it's going to be kind of
yeah.
So, I don't know.
Again, you never know. I mean, they might be able to. I think that
maybe
the way to fix it would be to do kind of what you were saying before. Is just go really stylized.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah. How about
still,
audience screaming and outbursts during the conferences?
That's been the thing since like the early 2000s.
It has, but I feel like the stakes were raised this year, where like people were just like shouting at the presenters.
There was one guy. What was it in? Was it the Ubisoft conference, or maybe it was? I don't know. There was one conference where there's one guy who was clearly. What's that?
Bethesda one?
Maybe that
was it. I think it was Ubi or Bethesda. It was one of those two, I believe. But yeah, just like everything, he was just
yeah. I don't know. That used to bother me a lot. I'm very much of the, back when it was mostly journalists in the crowd, I'm very much of the school of like no cheering in the press box.
Sure.
But I think live with it.
Even if you're a fan, there's like an acceptable level of clapping and cheering, and there's like talking to the presenters while they're trying to.
They just want to become memes at this point.
That's part of it. Yeah, they all wish they had the Rising Sun headband on, and
as soon as one person gets a day's worth of internet fame for being the
and
jackass,
a free copy of Cyberpunk 2077,
it's like, oh shit! If I just start yelling and interrupting their press conference, I get free games. Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that all the time.
The other thing I think is worth mentioning, though, is that, and I know in the Ubisoft conference, this seemed like a real thing, but I think in all of them, it was actually the case. There were a lot of developers in those crowds. And so they were getting really pumped for their games. And I think that's totally cool.
That is absolutely totally cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
But yeah.
But I don't know.
Here's another disappointment. No new Joy-Con colors. What's up with that?
Oh wow, is the show done? Are we done? Have we finally scraped the bottom of the barrel?
We scraped the bottom. Maybe we have. Did you guys have any other things that you're not as excited about?
No, not really. I mean,
bad list.
No, I mean there were a lot of games that they showed that aren't for me.
Sure,
but I'm not down on them. They're just, like I said, I came away when I went back and I looked at all the notes that I made during the conferences. I came in with 40 games I want to play over the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. I'm so excited. And I keep hearing that this was lackluster. I still wish Sony had been a part of it somehow.
Yep.
But
it was weird seeing Sony's social media accounts like tweet trailers that were shown off at E3 and like tiptoe around the fact that they weren't there. It was like, yeah.
But I think all in all it was successful. I was happy about it.
I did. One thing I saw while I was at E3 was a very naked man just hanging out on the streets of LA.
Was he streaming?
I didn't know.
Was it an influencer?
Was it Dr. Disrespect? You can tell us. Do you know what Dr. Disrespect looks like from the waist up?
Facing away from me, so he may have been streaming. I don't know.
Did you hear him say "What's up, guys" like 5 times?
There was a stream involved, but it was going against the wall.
That was my joke. Yes, he was yelling "Slam that like and subscribe button" a lot. And I was
make sure to click that bell.
I was like, "Sir, is that what you call them? This one's like and this one's subscribe." I had
more dongles than buttons.
on Wednesday, I had because I was pretty much in my hotel all day Wednesday writing stuff, and I had snuck out at it's like 1. I'm gonna go out and get some lunch. So I wandered out, walked a few blocks from the hotel, got a sandwich, ate it. I'm walking back to the hotel. I'm chatting with my wife on the phone, and I'm walking past some abandoned building.
Sure, because it's LA.
And I'm walking past. There's a little indentation where there was a door, and as I'm walking past, I'm hugging the wall. I'm very close to the wall, and you can't really see in that little alcove.
I feel like you've lived in enough places that you know better than this.
Yeah,
and I'm talking with Dana, and I'm like in mid-sentence, and I'm just walking past this little doorway, and out of the corner of my eye, I catch a figure, and I just see a lot of flesh color. And there's that moment where I kind of do like the double take, and on the double take, sure enough, a gentleman, he's shirtless, pants down around the ankles, but they're just
taking a huge dump,
just bare ass out for the world to see. Bright sunny afternoon, and I just do that kind of okay, and then there's a quick stutter in my voice as I'm mid-sentence chatting with my wife, and then I quickly regain my composure. I continue talking, and then when I get up the block, I explain what I just saw, because I certainly didn't want to acknowledge the person within earshot, because I don't. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing.
Who needs that kind of pain?
I hope he was peeing.
Sure.
I hope that's all it was, but who knows? I wasn't sticking around to find out. But that may be the most interesting thing I saw at E3.
You just described my last GDC experience.
Oh, is that right?
Came down to the cab one morning, and there was a FedEx truck parked a couple places ahead of us. The guy was making a delivery, and there was a woman behind the truck, squatted down. No, the FedEx guy wasn't.
Okay.
There's a woman behind the truck, squatted down, and just making a delivery herself. Yep,
just dumping.
And it's like, wow.
I mean, that's San Francisco.
That's San Francisco. And that's San Francisco now.
Defecating on the street is.
Where else they're gonna go?
That's a popular tourist attraction. In San Francisco is
the trolley and
you see
the pooping.
You see how many turds can you find on the street in one day? The next day you go out and try and beat that record.
The last time I went to San Francisco, it just made me so sad.
Yeah.
Because there's always been obviously homeless issue there.
Sure, right.
But when we moved there, what year did we go there? 2001?
2002.
2002. We first went there, and the first time I ever visited there, it was just like I was taken aback by the number of homeless people. But man, that doesn't even hold a candle. 2002 San Francisco is not even close to current San Francisco when it comes to the homeless problem.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyway, sorry. We definitely got off topic there.
We did. And we have a few E3 related tweets here that I want to get to. So I guess it's now time for tweets.
Tweet-a-dee-dee-dee, E3, tweet-a-dee-dee-dee, tweet, E3 tweets. Go.
All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Sasquatch Shaggy, who says E3 was meh this year. Which there you go. Somebody thinking that it's meh. Were you surprised Xbox didn't announce any new exclusive games for the Scarlet? Here's the thing about this. They barely
did. It was called Halo.
Well, they did, yeah. They barely announced the Scarlet. Right. We don't even know. That's not what it's going to be called when it comes out, probably. But the big reveal of the next hardware platform is next year.
Yeah,
this year we got the Halo Infinite is a launch title, which is great. But they're going to save that party for next year. They don't need to use it now.
They don't want to eat their sales of current games.
Well, it's not only that. They don't want to like show their hand before Sony has even said anything, right?
Well, I mean, they essentially said the same thing as Sony.
Yeah,
it's
they
a new
did.
console.
We're
It'll
doing
be
that
8K ready. Talk to you next year.
But I also think the time where games are shown 2-3 years ahead of when they're released is probably drawing to a close.
Unless you're Final Fantasy or Naughty Dog.
So, like, I don't think Microsoft needed to show a new exclusive game for the Scarlet other than Halo Infinite. So, that's my answer.
Good answer.
Yeah. Let's do this one from Hackerailius Night Attack 09, who says, does this scare CJ? And he linked to a tweet from GameSpot who says, the Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 team have been inspired by playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Ugh. Here's the thing about that. I mean, game developers, game designers anywhere can be inspired by another game. It doesn't mean they're going to exactly use the systems of Red Dead Redemption 2 for any means. Like, people who have played it, you can play it and like certain parts of it and say, oh, I'd like to incorporate that thing into my game in my way. Like, it doesn't mean what on its face you're going to be inspired by Red Dead Redemption 2, so you're going to make Red Dead Redemption Zelda.
It's going to be walking around in the snow for 2 hours.
No,
not doing anything.
He also, in that same article, calls out that they were also playing Skyrim.
Yeah, and other open world games. I mean,
of course, he's more talking about big popular open world games there.
Right, sure. Yeah, of course they were. I mean, a lot of game developers, designers do that. That's just part of the thing.
If there's one thing I hope they take inspiration from, it's that the guns didn't explode after firing 5 shots in Red Dead Redemption 2. And if that's what they take, then it does not worry me in the least.
Yeah. All right, Hackerailius Jerf Solo says, with the lackluster looking Battletoads announcement, what is a dead franchise you'd like to see revived next E3? I would love to get Crimson Skies or Banjo back. Nuts and Bolts was a gem. I mean, here's the thing about Battletoads. I was never into the Battletoads game, so I can't really judge. I mean, it doesn't look like something I would be super into playing, but I don't know. I'm not a Battletoads fan. Phil, do you want to weigh in on Battletoads?
I played Battletoads back in the day. It was fine, I guess. I mean, I just always saw it as kind of the half-assed Ninja Turtles ripoff that it is. And
I mean, people who played it at the show seemed to like it, so or at least not think it was stinky trash. So
people like Banjo-Kazooie too.
I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. Come on. There's nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say there wasn't. I'm just saying that people like Banjo-Kazooie and people like Battletoads. So
I'm
more
power.
Be
the weirdo and say I like Battletoads.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of my favorite games ever, but I enjoyed it. I kind of like. I always respected kind of what they did with. I mean, yeah, clearly they were aping the Ninja Turtles. That was their attempt at doing that. But I loved how sort of how they went with.
Not really aping the Ninja Turtles as much as they
were toting them. I like the whole idea of the big boot and that you turn into the wrecking ball. Like I thought those were cool. Yeah, it was a creative game, if nothing else. It was balanced very poorly, but it was creative.
It had clever animations.
Yeah.
It was poorly balanced.
I mean, things like even that first boss fight where it was fought from the perspective of the boss. Hey, pretty cool. Subsequent Battletoads games I never ever got into.
Right.
Sure.
But the thing that grabbed me when they announced this is it felt like whoever put together that announcement thinks it's still the 90s.
Well, I mean,
they're like
appealing to the 90s kids.
Yeah,
and I think that probably wasn't off base considering the way the NES Mini and the Genesis Mini, considering the sort of wave of 90s nostalgia.
Sure.
You could try to think up a trailer for the new Battletoads game and think I should really lean into the 90s stuff.
I feel like
maybe it didn't play well to you, but I don't think that means it's not a valid.
I think you're probably right, but to me, I feel like the first Battletoads, one of the reasons it works so well is because the turtles were so popular.
Yeah.
And now it feels like that trailer that they showed still acts like they are, and I don't feel like it. I'm not saying it just felt weird to me. I don't know. I'm not crazy excited about a new Battletoads, but I did like Battletoads.
Right. Sure.
So
I mean, if it's a good 3-player fighting game,
yeah, sure, why not?
Give it a shot.
If
Sure.
and you know what? Hey, it'll probably be on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Probably so.
I will play it.
Yeah. But in terms of the question that Jeff Solomon asked, Dead Space, always Dead Space.
Dead Space for sure
is the franchise.
Somebody else in the chat mentioned Prince of Persia. I'd love to see them bring back another Prince of Persia.
Yeah, which by the way, the old one got added to 360 back compat last week as part
Stands
of
the time or the updated.
I think the
updated
reboot.
One.
The updated one.
One
of them did.
I would love to see Wing Commander come back.
Man, a new Wing Commander would be great.
That would be cool.
That's probably my answer for that.
As they get Mark Hamill and
yes,
yeah, I mean, of course,
Tom Wilson.
Man has a name.
They were great. They had really built some chemistry over the length of that series. So, yeah.
Yep. So. All right. I think that's where we'll end it. What do you think?
All right.
Okay.
It is getting late.
Yes, and we started late.
Yeah,
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, something we said maybe, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters. Or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You will find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
We'll learn about classic Japanese Laserdisc arcade games like Revenge of the Ninja, aka Ninja Hayate.
Yes, indeed.
From Taito.
You will find Generation 16 episodes there as well when they're posted.
I have all the footage and all the voiceover recording done for the new episode.
Excellent. That's awesome. And you will find show notes and links to the things that we talked about on this episode, including the My Life in Gaming M2 stuff, like all the cool stuff that we mentioned. I will link to that stuff.
Phil, before you start your thing, talking about cool stuff on the internet, did you see the new cover of the Road Avenger title song?
I did.
Oh,
did.
We should call that out.
Now I'm going to have to link to that in the show notes.
Another channel called Muso Play, or the Gaming Muso.
Oh.
And he recreated the Sega CD version of the Road Avenger title song because there is not a high quality recording of that anyone knows about.
Oh, although, are all of his lyrics correct?
I believe they are, but I don't know.
Because I mean, one of the things about the Road Avenger Sega CD theme song is that it is incomprehensible.
Oh yeah. When you see lyrics listed, you're like, that's not what he's saying. Honestly, the fact that what he's singing doesn't rhyme makes me think the lyrics are correct.
I don't know. I think it's great and I appreciate it. I don't even know if there's official lyrics out there for the thing.
No idea.
He may be taking educated guesses on on those lines. But yeah, it's pretty great though. So
cool. Well, we'll link to that in the show notes as well.
You just got work to do tonight.
Yes, you will also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss video games and this episode and just stuff with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by loading up the Apple Podcast application. You can also head over to the App Store and invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application, which gives you one touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can send us your erotic fan fiction about us if you'd like. You can send us your cosplay photos where you're dressed up as us. Oh, who wouldn't want to see that? All you need are some fat suits and bald caps, and you're
talking about CJ like that.
Hell, I mean, I was kind of talking about all of us. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
I don't know. CJ's got a pretty impressive head of hair there.
CJ's
still here. Yeah,
CJ's still
for now.
The plugs are holding.
I don't know, man. You turn around. I'm kind of curious what that crown looks like, but.
Turn around.
I'm not going to reveal that on YouTube.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have that. If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It well, you know what? It keeps paying for CJ's toupee. He has to replace those every.
It's not a toupee.
This is a weave.
Remember when Mom dropped you, and we were, and we were gonna take you to the doctor, but we had to pay for Francis's toupee. I don't wear a hairpiece.
Oh, Goonies.
Seminoles 80s classic, real genius. There, I am quoting from. But you know what, Patreon friends? If you are a Patreon subscriber of the $5 tier, you do gain access to a special post show every week where we play games, we have fun, we crack wise, we diss each other's mamas, and we apologize because we don't want to hurt each other's feelings.
Sure,
we're a show about friendship first and foremost, and then video games.
Yeah.
So join us for that, please. Because if you do, it means you're giving us your money, and that is what we love most of all.
The most,
more than your friendship. We love your money.
We can't spend your friendship.
That's.
I mean, let's be honest.
Hey, you know, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to -16.com where you will find the Patreon link to help support Greg's series. Outstanding, and it is outstanding. And you know what, boy, if you want to see something that someone's doing for love, for you friendos, go watch Generation 16. It's actually pretty decent. It's better than you would expect from Greg.
That's true. I agree with everything Phil just said.
Better than you would expect.
Better than I expect.
Yeah. It surprises me every episode is
imagine putting it together.
I can't, which is why I don't. Why I leave it to you. Because I am way too lazy for that sort of commitment. But yeah, go do that, please. Generation 16. It's about the Sega Genesis. Did I mention that?
Yes, it is.
You did.
Yep.
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Phil,
for all that you do. Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you very much as well, of course.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, my thank you.
And you too, CJ.
Well, thank you, Greg. Happy Father's Day to you.
Thanks.
And Phil.
All
around.
I do not wish either of you a happy Father's Day because I am the best father.
Sure,
okay.
whatever.
Happy Father's Day, CJ and Greg.
Well, thanks, Phil.
Continue being a father. May you be a father until the day you die.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look at this. I got Finn gave me this today. It is a rocket.
Oh, look at that.
Got a space shuttle on it, and look what it says here. It says
Out of this world,
I am
Dad.
an out of this world.
Oh,
And,
that's cute.
look at this. It's licensed by NASA. It's a
That's what it's
awesome.
come to.
it's official
Great.
NASA.
Used to fly to the moon.
Yep.
Now they do
Now we're doing
Father's Day shirts.
T-shirts.
Father's Day t-shirts.
I like it.
I did chastise him though.
Oh God.
Because this should say that I am an out of this flat earth dad. That's what he should have bought me. So now he knows next year.
Now he knows.
Now he knows for next year. Yeah.
That won't be NASA branded though.
Yeah, you got to go online. There's some sketchy websites you got to go to buy that sort of shirt.
Right. Yeah.
So, yes, and of course, we poke fun, my dear listeners. But thank you for joining us for these many years and putting up with our stupidity.
Who else would?
So, thank you so much. We do genuinely love and appreciate every single one of you.
It's true. We didn't even talk about the games that we played this week.
Oh, we had a E3 stuff to talk. We'll talk about games.
Yeah, we'll talk about
games next week. Yeah, you're right.
We'll still be playing video games next week.
Yeah, probably.
I dare say we'll probably be playing the same games next week that we were playing this week.
World's not ending for another 30 years, man. We're good.
Okay.
We got lots of shows left.
Spoiler alert. I played some Puyan.
I figured that you would have.
Did you really?
No.
Oh.
But with a title like Puyan.
I totally. You know what? I do have, strangely enough, some Puyan nostalgia from the old Commodore 64 days. So
okay. Well, that makes sense.
Please look forward to next week, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Toodle-oo.
Toodle.